And we're back. Where did we leave off? We were talking football. Is that what we're talking about? Football?
Now we talked about so we got the Mantis. He was telling us that hey, he discovered 10th Planet, and that was a group he wanted to be around.
Right. That was after
success.
But you're talking about after he said he did a year of college football and then some arena football.
Yeah.
What
college did you go to?
I went to Kentucky Christian University, small NAI school in Grayson, Kentucky.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were there just for a year?
Just for a year, yeah. I'm not very good at school.
Neither am I.
Ball is life.
I feel bad.
Yeah, ball is life. I thought that if I just played sports and worked out and was good on the football team, that they'd keep me around, and they didn't. They didn't let me go. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's when you when did you go to Decatur though?
So I've lived in like Decatur area since I was 12. I was born in California, and then I moved to Nevada when I was 8, and then I moved to Alabama when I was 12.
Oh damn! So you've been all over the place.
Yeah. So the church that we use for the PGF,
right?
Whenever we lived in Las Vegas, the owners of that church had came to Las Vegas. They helped start up a church. Him and my dad became super good friends. They moved back out to Alabama, and then they somehow conjured my parents moving out to Alabama.
Oh damn! From Vegas.
Mm-hmm. So they were like part of the church when it started up. I don't think that like they don't no longer go there or anything, but yeah, they were part of that build up.
Yeah, man, gotta get away from the heathens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
be good with the Lord.
Bro.
Yeah,
that's kind of like to be like. Go ahead.
I was just saying that's kind of like my parents' idea. My family in California is fucking crazy. They just, you know what I'm saying? They do a lot. And then we moved to Vegas, and it was super crazy there. And the pitch that sold my dad was like, Alabama is nothing like these other places. Like your kids can play in the yard until 12 at night if they want. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. In Vegas, it was like, yo, kids in by 6. Like no way we're staying out past the sunlight.
Oh damn. Well, I mean, you were young, so you probably didn't affect you too bad.
Nah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
And as a parent now, I think I would go ahead and agree that I would rather not raise my children in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Versus a smaller town that's a little more relaxed.
Yeah. It's not like Las Vegas was super crazy or anything bad. It's not like I was hearing gunshots at night, but it was just like, hey, we're gonna take these precautions just in case.
Yeah, it's better because think about it this way, right? Your parents were like this. So like, do we want to raise the kid-tis, right? Because before the Mantis, he was the kid-tis. They're like, do we want to raise the kid-tis where Tupac was shot and killed, or do we want to go to somewhere where the worst thing that happens is the best chicken spot is closed on Sundays? Let's go there. That's probably what they thought, big dog.
100%. 100%.
Oh my god.
Miggy. Yes. Okay. Right on.
The kids.
That one put a smile on Steven, so that must have been
I'm trying not to ruin it.
Hey, ruin it, bro.
That was good.
Yeah, okay.
That was good.
Don't worry,
He's on fire.
Eventually with the joke, bro. Thank you.
And not only was it good, there was no interruption. He just went through it.
Mm-hmm. He stuck the landing.
We got to let him go. Usually, his jokes are no bueno. But hey, listen.
The man learned he cuts cucumbers.
12 fails. Yeah, hey, I'm scarred from that.
He's doing better since then. We had to brush him up a little bit and tell him how it is. Now he's fucking funny.
It took Hanson Kevin launching a cucumber at me on accident, right? He acted too well. That's what got me, dog.
Yeah, he was really pissed. He wasn't acting.
He's a method actor.
They're really big cucumbers.
His pickles.
Oh, that would have burned. Just go put some pickles on somebody's eyes.
Oh, that's right. It was cucumbers. It's like, bro, you don't know your veggies? What's up? It's like, we could tell you don't eat many of those.
Oh, know your veggies, bro. So, all right, behind the scenes bit, I almost fucked up the bit. I went to Walmart when we were looking for robes the first night. I asked the produce worker, yo, where's the cucumbers? This dude hands me zucchinis. I'm like, I don't know. I just take it. At this point, I don't know. The worker told me this. How am I going to doubt the man that works produce?
Bro, that would have been better. I wish you would have brought the zucchinis.
Yes.
Right. No, I was like, well,
I would have used them, bro. You give me some yellow squash, I'll put
That's
those babies on.
commitment.
Let's go.
That's commitment, right?
Whatever
there.
handsome Kev
Bro.
says.
He
True
comes up to me at Walmart. He's like, "The guy gave me this," and I'm like, "That's not cucumbers, bro."
That's awesome.
I was like, "Hey,
They were
man,
like
this
in a
is this man's life."
He
In
was like in a
plastic wrap and
star
everything.
shape and everything.
I was
It's
like,
like,
man,
yeah.
Alabama
We could-
cucumbers, dude.
It's like we can tell you don't eat cucumbers because you don't even know what they look like.
Or
Bro,
zucchini.
everyone saw me. They're like, "Whoa, you're bigger in person." Hell yeah, look at my belly and then everything else. Like, I'm pretty huge in person, dog.
Tall.
That's a huge bitch.
They're like, "Yo, man, he shops in big and tall. Huge emphasis on the big." That's what they saw me.
All right, so Travis, I'll
Oh, here we go. Here we
There
go.
we go.
You know,
Back on
Tommy.
brand. We all
reel
turn
back
it,
in.
baby.
Reel back in. I have to do this occasionally, guys. I'm sorry. I was up for a while. All right, so Travis, every submission you had was different.
Correct.
What was that? Do you have like a bingo card? What was going on there?
I don't really like have a way that I like to play. Brandon, I mean, I feel like I learned a lot of things from Brandon. Obviously, that's where I train. He always just talks about like letting people pick how they die, and that's kind of my way of playing. I think that I can get any sub. I try to practice them all. I don't usually like just go in the gym and get 40 leg locks or 40 rear naked chokes. I play the game from bottom. I play it from top. I play it from wrestling. So however you want to die, I try to make sure that my technique is good enough to finish you in all ways so that I don't have to look for a certain place.
Travis, sorry, can I cut in with something along that same line? That's interesting. Just with my personal like background, also being with MMA and stuff, I felt like back when I was at your level of learning 2 or 3 years in, 4 years in, we were being taught a lot of the jiu-jitsu things to avoid. Don't do this, no leg locks, try to just wrestle up, don't play guard. Are you just not getting any of that kind of, and not in a bad way, but like, are you not really learning that style of jiu-jitsu for MMA as well? You're just going to kind of use that same mindset to where you're going to just kind of let it develop that way and let it come however it comes?
Yeah. So when I first started, like jiu-jitsu was the main thing that I was training. 10th Planet Decatur didn't really have an MMA program. So I kind of just like fell straight into jiu-jitsu, and I kind of fell into like loving the guard. I really like playing from my back. It's comfortable for me. And then I feel like I developed that in MMA because we didn't have really an MMA coach. So I just kind of played MMA from the bottom. And I feel like now I feel safe on the bottom. I understand that it's not the winning position, but I feel like I'm not going to get my ass beat. Why did that just happen?
Wait! You said winning, and all of a sudden,
I think it's the new iPhone thing. I did double thumbs up, and I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro,
That threw me off.
that was perfect though.
That was, it said it at the most perfect time, man. Like I was like, man, this dude's speaking words.
Like the whole world lit up when he said that. I was like, I believe.
But so I've kind of just like now I'm fucked up. I feel super safe from the bottom. So like part of my game is understanding that if things do get too difficult, I do feel safe at the bottom and I can play a game from there. I understand that jiu-jitsu in MMA is way different. The way that I'm trying to switch that now is not just going straight to the bottom, but knowing that if I end up on the bottom, I'm not in that big of trouble.
No, I definitely understand that. I think that's going to make your stand-up game probably more comfortable too when you're not so worried about the takedown and everything. Given time, you'll balance all the stuff out, I'm sure too, man. I just thought that was a really interesting thought process because we were really, really, really beat into some of that stuff. Don't do this. You should never do that. You should never do that. But now we see, if the guy knows how to use that stuff appropriately at the right times, that it's just as successful in the MMA world as it would be, in a regular jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah. I'm racing against the sun. I got this little beam behind me blocking the sun, and every 5 minutes it keeps popping out.
So, of all your submissions,
go ahead, Hank.
Do you have a favorite one from the season?
I think the Dead Orchard right off the rip was pretty sick. I don't think it's like that crazy of a move. I think like, especially if you know the setup, like it shouldn't be that hard. I just think it is a pretty dominant move when you have somebody stuck in there like that.
I say props. So in a tournament, it's not the easiest thing to hit, right? It's like in a roll, whatever. But there's just something about it, right? The complexity of the move that just when you have a crowd watching, you're like, well, I hope I get this, and dude, you knock it out the park.
Yeah, I feel like the idea too of those submissions, like I think John Danaher says, you should use submissions that have the highest percentage rate, like rear naked chokes and triangles and arm triangles. Those are like your most successful submissions, and you should stick to those. I feel like I agree with that in the sense that they do work, but the problem is everybody sees those all the time. You can find a guy at a bar who knows a rear naked choke. So it seems like everybody's gonna know that defense a lot better. But then you start putting people in the rubber guard or start using like the dead orchard or the omoplatas and stuff like that, and it's not as familiar, so people start making more mistakes. And when you're playing that game, if you give them like a way out or an idea to go somewhere, it seems like they'll take it a lot easier because they haven't been in that position a lot.
Yep.
I'd say, tell me a little bit about your submission against Matt Elkins. I mean, he's one of your coaches, so that had to be kind of interesting. And I thought that was like your big announcement that you were there to play. To play.
Yeah. I feel like Matt's super game, so that was super fun. We roll all the time in the gym. I feel like I could have finished him with the leg lock. I entered in on the leg like right at the beginning, and I had just talked to him in the back, and that was his hurt knee. And I told him like, yo, if I get on your leg, I'm not gonna attack the leg. Like, that's not cool. You are my coach. I would rather us be like healthy after this than get a win off of that. So that was cool. And then I got the arm bar, and he keeps saying that his finger got stuck in my rash guard, but I feel like it was just a really nice setup, super quick arm bar. And I thought it felt awesome right in the moment. Like as soon as I subbed him, I was like, oh, so sick. And then once it got done and they raised my hand, I was like, damn. It's like when you beat up your dad. Like everybody wants to beat up their dad until they beat up their dad. And then they're like, oh, fuck. I just beat up my dad. So
come on, do the thumbs up phone. That was perfect. Your phone is your height.
Yeah, it's ready. I got to find this new iOS. Listen, and so that was like, it's the, I guess you call it, what did you call it? The shotgun arm bar is what people call it. But it's basically just like Ashi on the arm, right? Is what it looked like watching it back or whatever. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, the setup, the idea is that when I get that arm through, I have the arm bar on that side, and most people rip the arm out, and then you have like the I don't know most names, but like
some leg spaghetti.
Yeah, the bottom side triangle actually, because you get that leg over their shoulder, and then when they rip their arm out, they're one arm in, one arm out, and then you just shoot that bottom leg up, and then you could play the Kimura trap on the other side.
Nice.
Okay.
Man,
okay.
That sounds like you got some elaborate setups.
Oh man, I think I understand the game of jiu-jitsu very well. I think my problem is that I'm so young in it. I don't know the names of everything, so like I can't always translate what I'm thinking. But like I feel like my superpower in jiu-jitsu is I feel the body very well. I know my body very well. Somebody can show me a move once or twice, and then I can go replicate it. The problem is I just can't always like transfer that to people, which kind of hurts me because I can't just sit here and think about jiu-jitsu in like a term way. Like I can't think of all the names and all the setups and all the things. Now, like when I'm touching somebody, I feel very, very good. But
I'm that same way still, man. Like a lot of times people come to me with like the names and stuff, and I'll have to just ask them to show me or let me like feel it with them or something like that. And I definitely learn a lot more by feeling it too. I can see it and get it, but definitely when I feel it and go through it a lot more, I'm more of a feel guy too. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing overall, especially knowing your body type versus how this other guy does it is like, you know how to do your game. And at the end of the day, that's probably what's most important.
Yeah. I don't, I'm like your typical purple belt. I don't drill, but I haven't probably drilled since about like 6 months into blue belt. I just like live training. And then like me and Scaff do sessions by ourselves on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like MMA, whether it's striking or jiu-jitsu, we always do a little something. And he'll give me ideas to play with, and then I'll take them into the live setting, and then I'll come back with questions. I have like a hard time sitting in class and doing the same move for an hour because most of the time I pick up on the move after the first 2 reps, and then I just need to figure out where I'm messing up in a live session. I don't need to like sit there and keep trying to do the same thing. I just need to like figure out why it won't work in a live session. Then ask Scaff like, okay, this is what I'm running into. Like his weight's not going the way I want it to. Where am I messing up? Then I'll come back with the answer, and then I go back to live training.
I think that's good. I think that's a really good way. There are a lot of people that are kind of leaning that way more overall. I think they call it the like ecological approach. If you're like a big brain person, you may know more about that or not. But it's a sports science thing. I'm not well versed enough in all of it to really say much, but it's definitely an interesting concept of where you do that. Like an athlete, like yourself, somebody who's really like an athlete can just kind of get it, and then you don't need to know everything. You just need to know what you need to know. Versus like the hobby person, the everyday man who's coming in and loves jujitsu. They're picking up techniques. They want to get as much as they can maybe and get some rolls in and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting concept, especially because like you said, you have a good coach that's not just letting you do whatever on your own. You guys are giving actual live feedback to the specific problems that you're having. So I think that's good, man. That's cool.
Yeah, Scap does a super good job of like being a coach that understands his athletes. I think Nikaya's grown out of it a little bit, but like Nikaya and me were so different on like the competition scale, where when Nikaya's competing, she wants a lot of instruction, or through her training, she wants a lot of instruction on like, hey, this is what you do here, this is what you do there, this is what you do there. I'm more of like kind of like an artist, man. I want to go in there and I want to paint the picture that I want to paint, and I don't really want the guidelines that you want to give me. I want there to be an idea if I get stuck. Like if you see me in a stuck position, like, hey, maybe you should try this. But like Scap does a really good job of just letting me be free, and then coming back when we're not in training and saying like, hey, maybe you should look at these things, and then just letting me go off again and paint my pictures.
Paint some pretty pictures. Right, Steven?
Yeah, listen to that. I'm speaking my language over here.
Listen, I've been in for what, 15, 16, 17 years, I think, by now, and I still don't understand a lot of things. Like my coaches try to get me to understand concepts and how to set up somebody, and I'm still like,
I feel it.
Somehow it just does not compute in my head.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, it's
no man.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
It's really very cool going on. So it's really interesting, right? How Scaff was also a college athlete, right?
Yeah, he played soccer.
Yeah, there you go. So it's actually pretty interesting, right, to see that both of you guys working together, because you guys have a different understanding towards sports versus the like Dream was saying, right, the hobby guy. It's actually pretty cool, reflective to see what you guys are able to do, how you're able to experiment, how you're able to apply it. You're showing a different use case of jiu-jitsu. Like even guys that are competitive, they don't even do this, right? Because they maybe approach it, like you said, like a more instructional standpoint. But the way you're doing it, man, it's wild. Where you're 4 years into training, you said?
It'll be 3 years in February.
3 years, and you're doing this, bro. Like, my God, that's I had to hype that up there, bro. That's impressive. It's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I understand the principles of jiu-jitsu. I don't really focus on. That's like my favorite, like you guys saying, my favorite submission. I don't really have one because I don't focus on like killing people in certain ways. I understand the principles in jiu-jitsu, and they revolve from every position. Most things that happen in one position are the same things that happen in another position, and it's just finding the correlation between the two. And I feel like I understand that more than some people come into jiu-jitsu and they want to figure out how to kill everybody in every single way, and that's like not really the game of jiu-jitsu. You don't like play chess and just figure out how the queen works. You figure out how their pieces work against your pieces, and how all your pawns work, and how all, like your both your knights. You got to figure out every single piece of the puzzle. And when you figure out every single piece, you can understand how their pieces work, and then what ways fight against others the best.
Do you do a lot of like tape study, or with MMA?
I watch myself a lot.
Okay.
I try to film myself almost every session, and then go back and watch my rolls. Not really for like highlights, but just to see the problems that I'm having.
And obviously to say, God damn, I look good in that role.
I'm very self-critical. I feel like I always look like shit.
I think a lot of people have that problem that do something that's creative. Yeah. It's never good enough. Yeah. It's like you're always looking for that little thing that's gonna put it over and be like, okay, I got this now.
For sure.
I have that same issue. I suffer from fucking imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like nothing I do is ever good enough for me. Mm-hmm. People can say, oh, that's great, man, you did that. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's a true artist, man. Artists are never satisfied with their work.
You know,
Yes.
sorry, cut it in again. There's one thing I thought was just interesting as again, like trying to relate it to this stuff. It's really interesting to hear you speak. You know, you're definitely an up and coming athlete that's, you know, making a lot of noise. So as a coach who has other people that are, you know, on the come up in their own ways and stuff, the difference between you and Nakai was an interesting topic too, because I noticed that I have students that want to basically kind of have their hand held in a way through everything and really be walked through the processes of everything, just like very deliberately. So that way they feel like they have a great understanding of it. And I have some guys who just kind of like to study freelance and come in and do live training days and get all the live work in and stuff, but don't really come to a lot of the really structured dead drilling kind of classes because for whatever, they just don't get it. They don't enjoy it. It doesn't really like spark that like thing for them. And that's a little frustrating as the coach sometimes,
Sure.
if you don't understand it or if the person's like, you know, a little bit off in ways. But it's definitely been something I've noticed that is real, and how to navigate it with each athlete it's difficult. So like, you know, like kudos to Scaff too for being able to recognize that and doing the work with you guys to help push that through. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think something that Miggy said that was like he was talking about Scaff being an athlete as well. Scaff is crazy because he has the best of both worlds. Scaff was, I mean, and he's not like top superior athlete. You know, it's not like he was out there jumping a 12 on the broad jump test or 50-inch vertical, but he was an athlete, so he understands the sports. But at the same time, he's like a scientist in the aspect of like sports analysis. He's always looking at the new things and he understands the sport. And he's a genius. But I feel like back to what you were saying, just like in school where each student learns different, I feel like it's on the athlete to figure out how he learns. What's the best way for him to increase his growth in the sport, whether that is drilling, watching YouTube, or coming to live training rounds. I think it's also on the coach to understand that every athlete is different and figure out his athletes. Like spend time with your athletes so you can understand not just how they are in the sport, but how they are outside of the sport, so you guys can communicate a lot better. Me and Scaff are best friends. I hang out with him every single day. I talk to him on the phone. Every time I do something, I let him know. Like we're super close. So like he understands me, not just in the sport, but outside of the sport. So we have like a lot better communication. I know that's obviously going to be hard if you have 50 athletes. It's going to be hard to talk to all 50 athletes, but I think that's why Scaff kind of stepped down from the teaching everybody to like, no, I just want to be the coach. I want to take all the athletes here and I just want to be their coach. The ones that want to work with me, I'll for sure work with them. The ones that don't, that's okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, pardon me, for people who might be just joining us now, obviously we have Travis Thomas, the Mantis here, standout from PGF season 5. You know, you were the runner-up in the regular season and then a semifinalist in the finale tournament. Can you just kind of explain to the people a little bit about your experiences with the PGF this season?
Man, the PGF was super awesome. I think I was contemplating on not doing the PGF because I was really trying to make my pro debut. I mean, I've been trying to do it all this year. I wanted to go to Thailand at the beginning of the year. My passport's still fucked up. I didn't do like a very good job of like checking up on my passport, but once it didn't come in, I just kind of was like, fuck it, whatever. Ended up going to Vegas, doing some training. But then since about June, I've been really like talking to promoters. Hey, let me get a fight. I've had a couple guys say yes, and then last minute they back out. Well, November 4th, I was going to make my pro debut, and 3 weeks before, dude backed out, and they're like, but don't worry, we got another. But that was already like the 4th dude. And Brandon was like, man, if you do the PGF, you're going to make more money and you're going to have a better chance to like push your name out there. Like, I think that this season of the PGF will be better than one fight for your pro debut. And I thought about it for a couple of days and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it because every time that I've like said like, no, I'm going to make the fight, we get to fight week, dude pulls out. I'm shit out of luck. There's another 4 months where I haven't done a competition. But $1,100 first day of the PGF, crazy. That's way more than I would have made for my pro debut already. Right, I mean, right there, even if I didn't do anything else in the PGF, that was already better than my pro debut. But then I got to come out and I did show out. I did good. I didn't do as good as I wanted to, but I did fairly well. I didn't get subbed. I lost in overtime, something I got to work on. But so many opportunities have came up of it. I got to talk to 4 or 5 different companies on like different sponsorships now. My name is out there. Tons of people watch the PGF. When I went to the Midwest Finishers, there was like 7 people that were like, damn, dude, I seen you in the PGF. You was killing it. Something about the PGF, though, that I took lightly was how much it was going to be. I said in the beginning, like, oh, I'm not worried about the 4 days of competing. I do this every day in the gym. Like, I get to train with Sawyer Griffin. I don't know if you understand this, but Saw Dog is a fucking madman. And while I do love training with him, me and him go to war. Like every time I roll with him, I want to kill him after the round. Like, I just got to like slap Bunk walk away for a second because I want to beat his ass. So like, I was like, the 4 days of jiu-jitsu isn't going to be that bad. And I'll tell you, after day 1, I was like, holy fuck. I don't know why this is so hard, but I am exhausted already.
So you can't pinpoint what the difference was. That made it hard.
The competition speed, just the idea of being in competition is way different. It's your mind. Like I fight, so I go and get punched in the face, so it's not as scary, right? When I'm going into the match, I'm not like, oh fuck, what happens if this guy knocks me out? I mean, worst case scenario, he puts me in a choke, I tap out. He puts me in a heel hook, I tap out. Easy. But still, I don't like losing. I am a competitor. I said like, oh man, I had a great season. Good job, Kamoy. I'm not even mad. Look how far I made it. Went home and sat in my shower for 30 minutes. Like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, I'm just a competitor. So, like, knowing that there is the idea that you can lose, it's not, hey, tap out, let's reset. It's, 2 dudes with, like, who's the man? So, like, that is a different speed, and it does wear on you a lot more than you'll think it does.
So, Steven's talked about this before, but the PGF is the gauntlet, as we always say, the Shark Week of Jiu-Jitsu. So every competitor has 3 matches a night for 4 nights in a row, and trying to accumulate those points. I mean, Steven, maybe talk about your experience with it.
Yeah, it's definitely the same thing you said right there too. Going in, it's like, oh man, I do rolls all the time. I've been in competition classes with tough guys, and where every round's hard every night. Coming from San Diego, being out there with those guys, similar to how you said with Saw Dog, that was me and Sloan Climber. A lot of the times we, best buddies, but we would fist fight during every jiu-jitsu match, basically trying to pull each other's heads off and stuff, trying to be the best, man. Everybody wants to be the best, and it's not adversarial, but you need that to really be pushing each other and stuff. The big thing I thought for me, and that I've noticed too for the PGF stuff, for a lot of people, the competition part is hard, but it's the mental side of it, from having to be there all day, every day, and you have to be on the whole time, because you never know, is this guy sizing me up? Is he talking to me this way to try to like get some information or to trick me into doing something? Is then the show's on, there's a camera here, do I need to act a certain way? And then all these different things, and that goes on for a whole week plus the matches. Yeah. So that's, I think, so much of a mental load, whereas on tournaments or MMA fights, you may have the weigh-in night and the event day, and that's kind of all that you deal with in one stretch. But this is a straight 5 or 6 days pretty much of nonstop press and cameras in your face, and also athletic competition.
Yeah. And I want to say, I think it helped me out being at home. I think that's another factor to the athletes that are staying in the Airbnb. I got to go home every night, get on my computer, hang out with my boys, jump in my shower, lay in my bed, eat my food, pet my dog. All these other dudes are like calling their girls, you know what I'm saying? My girlfriend came down, stayed the last night with me. Like, I was at my spot. So while I still was tired, like, I still had a lot of reassurance at my house. I can go sit at my parents' house. So that was super good for me. I feel like that adds on too. So like for the next seasons when they're not doing it in somebody's hometown, that could be another factor in making you even more tired.
No, definitely. The season we did it, a lot of the guys stayed in the gym. That was when they had a lot of the beds that they got and put in the different offices and things like that for guys. And I popped from my own room that week when I was competing, because I was like, I can't mentally, I could not deal with it for that long without being able to get away for at least some point in time to just be by myself and like 100%. Not deal with all that. So definitely, I think that would be a big boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually lived in the gym for about 2 or 3 months I think about like last year sometime. And that was kind of the same idea. It wasn't competition, but I was in the gym so much that I was like, holy shit, I have to get my own spot. Like there was never a time it didn't feel like I was training or talking about jujitsu and like I love jujitsu. Don't get me wrong. I'll go watch the most perfect match where people are using so much technique and it's 2.5 hours long, but no one's like, I love that. That's cool. It's super cool puzzle to me. But at the same time, like, fuck, I got to smoke a joint or something at my house. You know, I got to be away. I cannot just sit here for hours on end.
No, definitely.
So, what was your favorite part about the PGF experience?
I think that I love seeing people being together and having a good time. That makes my heart happy. I love when people are loving each other and there's a ton of happiness in the room and people are joking and no one's upset about the jokes. I feel like the community of jiu-jitsu is a really nice one, and just seeing everybody coming out together and hang out for a week where no one really knew each other, but everybody became somewhat friends. I wouldn't say none of these guys are my friends. I don't text them or stuff, but like everybody was friendly with each other. That shit makes me happy. I love that. Growing up, like my family always did a weekend barbecue where everybody came in, and just like seeing everybody having a good time, that shit makes me happy. I think like loving people is something that I love to do. So when I see other people doing it, I don't know, it just fires me up.
So really the camaraderie of the crew.
Yeah, I know. I'm lame. I'm not like, yeah, this the awesome athletics.
No,
I watch
bro, listen.
rom-coms.
I think that's most people's answer. I bet.
Yeah, listen, that's why I like it. To be honest with you, we were talking the other day about somebody's jujitsu, and I'm like, man, fuck their jujitsu. They're funny.
Talking about Mike cooking that food back there on the grill and hooking us all up.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Mike. Appreciate
Listen,
you. Shout
yeah.
out to Mike.
Mike's
Hell yeah.
person.
But to me, I think that's the main reason why I like it so much is because everybody's cool with each other. It's like you may be chirping at each other, the competitors. I mean, you know, behind the scenes or whatever, trying to hype up the match or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, it's cool. It's all in fun.
Yeah, it's funny because my buddy, I think Thursday night we all went to the bars, and like me and Elijah and a couple other dudes were there, and my buddy, I was telling my buddy like, oh, I was hanging out with Elijah at the bar, and he was like, oh, so like y'all are cool now? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, don't y'all like hate each other? And I was like, I mean, he's not my friend, but like I think we're super cool. Like he's a cool guy. That's just like build up for I'm just trying to make a cool finale. Like if me and him make it to the finale and I have built all this up and he has built all this up, makes for a better show.
I thought that you guys were playing it perfectly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you guys did.
You
I hope
like,
Kamoy didn't think like we didn't think he could make it. I just felt like my idea in the beginning, I thought that me and Kevin could make it to the end. I was hoping me and Kevin got on the same team. I was hoping that we both made it to the finale and we could do the Handsome Belt rematch and the PGF thing.
So you want that get back?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Always.
100. I was so upset when I had to go against Alex because I was finna put 7 on Kevin real quick.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
Clip this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
good.
So I had a whole play out because if me and Kevin made it to the finale and then I beat Kevin, then I was going to call out Reese Watkins for my pro debut because I can't find a fight, and Reese is his student. That didn't work out because Kevin got hurt. So then I just switched my vision. Was like, all right, Elijah's going to make it to the
target.
end. Let's start talking shit about Elijah.
Well, you know, it hypes up the possibility of that being the finale. You know, and it gets people interested. Whether it's real or not, you guys are chirping at each other, and you know that's what's going on there. I mean, your friend had the same reactions, like, "Oh, you guys cool now? What's up?" You know,
I mean, you got to actually believe you can beat these guys.
Oh,
it's
100%.
It's not bad for me to come in and be like, Travis, I think you're really good, but I think I'm better, and this
100%.
is why. And you know, whatever, and both of us believing that and saying that is actually going to help both of us get over. It's going to make the show get over. And versus a guy being like, he's trash, he sucks, he's not any good, then that just makes the show basically look like nobody's any good and stuff too. So we want to make everybody look like they are as good as they are.
Make it exciting.
It is what it is. And listen, I lost because the guy that beat me was really, really good. That's why I lost, not because any other kind of crazy stuff had to happen. It's like, yeah, I'm out here with the best guys, and that's what's going down. So it's not adversarial in that way, but we definitely all want the same thing. And so you got to go compete for it in a real way.
I feel like the PGF does have dunkable people on the season. That's kind of like the buildup of it. Like there's the dunkables, there's the mid guys, and then there's the guys that are going to get the dunks. And like Elijah said, the idea is how many guys that are supposed to be dunking are going to get the dunks. So like while there is some people that aren't as good, I felt like this season had more of an average than like a dunkable guy. You know, there was like maybe 2 or 3 guys that it seemed like it was going to be easier match, but for the most part, most of the other guys were pretty damn good. So then it was like, okay, now who's not going to get drawn out? And I felt like that made this season super exciting because the talent level seemed like it was a little bit higher. Maybe it was just because I was in it, but like it seemed like everybody in there was pretty game.
No, it was definitely higher.
Yeah. Well, no, not only that, man, but this is part of the thing of pro sports, right? It's like we might have the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're gonna have a team like the New York Giants that are just straight ass this season, right? Like it's not that they're bad; they're at the pro level. It's just not their season, so they might have moments where they're getting dunked on, right? Like it just happens. Sure. It's part of the pro sports.
For sure.
How did you handle the whole media part of it, where somebody's got a mic in your face, you know, a camera in your face?
Yo, I love the.
You love
representing the level. It was great.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
I mean, did that like throw you off a little bit, or we're like, nah, man, I'm just gonna have fun with this shit?
Yeah, no. So when I first started doing my martial arts journey, I really sucked behind the camera. Every time I got on the mic, I just didn't have good things to say, and I would just be like, my coaches are the best. I love my coaches. And that was pretty much it, which is not bad. I do love my coaches, and I do give all the, like, without Scaff and Brandon and the squad, I would not be where I am. Who knows? Maybe I do all right, but like, this is where I'm supposed to be for sure. And this is why I'm getting the best growth that I'm getting. So me and Scaff actually started a podcast, and we haven't been doing good, but for a while we did pretty good on it. And that helped me start to talk in front of the camera. And then Brandon started talking about like, hey man, if you want to make it big in this, you're going to have to start doing, like, you need a presence on social media. So that started a little bit more. And then I've been giving private lessons to Grayson Webster, and he's been doing footage for me. So like now I've been in front of the camera more. And then my biggest thing was when I came into the PGF, I knew I wasn't going to learn like much jiu-jitsu there. It's the competition. You've already learned everything you need to learn about this. It's time to show out. What I did know was I was going to be around you guys, people that understand the sport or understand the social media part, like Zoltan or like Keelan and Brandon or you guys right here. Everybody, I knew that I can gain a lot of information about social media and how to work. So every time I came in, I just try to migrate to the mic, the Zoltan, the Brandon, and listen to what they were saying about the social media and how we need to work that. And I feel like I was comfortable with the cameras on me, but now I've understand how to use the social media a little bit more, and I feel like I gained a lot from that.
Right on. I mean, you know, when we started doing the podcast and we're doing the fantasies, you know, not everybody was used to having somebody talk about them. Ain't that right, Steven?
No, people have been talking about me for a long time. They just y'all just weren't used to people coming and knocking on your door about shit you had to say.
Yeah, Steven's the man, dude.
Oh man.
I want to point out that that comment was not made by me, by the way.
Accountability. No, I saw your name on the top of the article.
Oh man.
Oh, fuck that. Listen, I try to stay away from all that. I try not to make comments about anybody or who I think is going to win because I want to be cool with everybody. At the end of the day, honestly,
it's true.
I really don't give a shit who wins because I just want you all to have a good time. You know, if we're all there having a good time, you know.
The season I was going there, I knew that there was 5 or 6 of those guys that could probably submit me in the right situations for sure. I didn't expect everybody else to really think I was going to be as good as I was or whatever it was. I didn't know everybody would know who I was even hardly, kind of coming out there and stuff. but definitely the big thing was, we talked about it, and it's all jokes and stuff, same thing now or whatever. And it wasn't really anything then, but it's definitely, as a competitor, as somebody who takes what they do very serious, being called something like lethargic or unexciting or just anything that you think you're not as a competitor, it definitely stings in a certain way. And if you can deal with that, then use that in the right way and try to show everybody the difference when you get the chance. Or you can just shrink from it and be like a little petty kid and whine about it. Just step in there, show them what's up, and keep moving on.
I tell you what, Egghead fueled my fire for sure. And I don't think that Egghead was like had anything against me, but it seemed like every time my name brought up, Egghead was like, "Well, the stats aren't there, boys." And I was like, "I'm gonna motherfucking show this dude where the stats are for sure." I know when I watched the draft that panned over to them and they said, "Egghead, what do you think about that?" And Egghead said, "Overpaid." And I said, "Okay." So I don't know. Right after my first, I think right after my second submission, or I think it was after my second submission, I tried to get in the camera and say, "Who's overpaid now, Egghead?"
Listen, I will say this: underpaid.
Underpaid, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think a lot of you guys had a really healthy attitude about it this season.
Who didn't have a healthy attitude? Tell me.
Yeah,
No,
drop names,
I
dog.
was saying that every time people kind of said the same sort of thing, like, "Hey, Egghead, I'm gonna prove you wrong." I'm like, perfect, man. That's what I want. I want you, to use that, and I want you to prove me wrong. I like Wallo said, I wish everyone could get every submission possible. I mean, we generally, we love everyone that's part of the PGF. I mean, we talked about before. Everyone, it's all love, but part of the experience is, if I am doing a fantasy analysis, not everyone can win every match. It's impossible. So you have to say, okay, this is, looking at the footage, what I have available to me, here's what I think might happen. Here's who I think, you should go pick up and put on your team. And here's who I'm like, no, I don't think so. And that's what you got to do. Like you said, I mean, there's some people that are pretty dunkable, and there's a lot of guys that are just like, man, I just don't know. Like Landon Turville came out of nowhere. I mean, that dude has no footage. I mean, before PGF season 5, I couldn't find anything with him. I mean, and yourself. I mean, I saw you beating the heck out of people, not doing jiu-jitsu. So I mean, a limited sample size. I mean, you have to make your estimates upon what you have. But definitely, you and Landon both were the breakout stars. No question.
Yeah, I don't think it's out there, but if you were able to find it, my first jiu-jitsu competition, I did a quintet with me. Was it a quintet? I guess it was a quartet. It was 4 of us. It was me, Sawyer, Evan. No, it was 5 of us. It was 4 of us. Me, Sawyer, Evan, and Josh Daddario. And we had 3 team matches. The first one, I subbed all 4 people. The second one, I subbed the last guy, and then the third match for the finale, I subbed 2 dudes and drew one guy out to the finish. So if you could have seen that, maybe you would have changed your perspective on me.
Well, but that's one day, right?
It was also a blue belt tournament that I've been training for 3 months.
I got you. But
So-
I mean, that's still limited sample size.
There's a thing too, kind of like in a way that we're talking about here that is interesting, and I just thought about it right now. But getting over that kind of stuff it's been a process too, in a way. And like I said though, like I will ask what a person's saying about in certain ways, because when I was a brown belt, Brandon was doing a lot of commentary. Then he was really just starting to get out there a little bit. And so I had done the On It Invitational, and he had commentated that one. And it wasn't my best tournament. I made it to the finale and lost to, Adam Sachnoff, which was, he was great. He is great. So, obviously I was pissed, but whatever. It is what it is. But then he came out to San Diego and did the tournament that Boogie was doing, Ultimate Mat Warriors. And during one of my matches, when I went back the night after and went to watch it, he was talking. He was just doing commentary, but he called one of the things I was doing. He's like, he's just using this white belt side control, and he said it more than one time. And I was like, what the? does he mean that I'm white belt side control? I'm almost a black belt, I think. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, and it really bothered me. So the next day he was at the school doing a seminar. And so I just went up and I asked him, what did you mean by that? Because like I didn't know. And like I knew he wasn't trying to necessarily be disrespectful, but he was saying something. Right. And so that gave him the opportunity to explain that he was just talking about the way that I was using that is like the first side control that you use when you teach people side control. Is like, it's just the first one. I didn't mean that you are a low level side control player. I was just saying you were holding that first position. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that as a competitor, when somebody says something, it goes straight to the ego for sure.
Yep,
While he wasn't saying anything about your technique, you were
nothing
like,
bad.
white belt, what? Who the fuck?
I was ready to fight.
Guy? Yeah.
It's a whole seminar on like, you know, guard.
He taught a whole seminar. He did. He taught the whole seminar on not using that.
Any questions? He was like, yeah, you Dream. Oh, so last night you said white belt side control. Care to explain that?
No, this was before the seminar, and then he taught the seminar about all that stuff. So I was like, I appreciated that, and that's when I started really like messing with Brandon really heavy after that, because it made a lot of sense what he was saying, and I understood not necessarily the criticism or whatever, but just the way that things are. Sometimes people are calling what they see, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything bad about you as the person. It's just what they see going on during a match, or during, like, Egg had watched a video of me not being very spry for some reason. I don't know what he saw, but there's definitely bad performances out there. Most of the performances I had online are the bad ones, because I didn't post a lot of the stuff. So you'd find the ones that like the promotions had put out where I got beat by somebody else or whatever it was. And so that, you know, I'm sure there's a bunch of those out there, but the's also about 8 or 9 TKO videos floating around somewhere too that you probably don't get to see.
Yes, sir.
Hey, somebody's got to do the job.
Somebody does, man.
About it. But that's
Listen,
fine.
and at the end of the day, I mean, this is just new. I mean, so there's not going to be a large pool of footage out there from a lot of competitors, you know, unless you compete like every freaking week and you're posting all your videos.
Yeah.
Right now, it's going to be hard to find footage on, you know, some of these guys that are competing in the PGF.
For sure.
I mean, but that's also kind of the target audience we want for the PGF is those, you know, are those up and comers. I mean, we want the people that are hungry. We want the people that are they're willing to, like, you know, come back with their shield or come back on it. That's the type of competitor like yourself, Travis, that we really want, and it makes it exciting. You know, all the guys that are worried about their egos and worried about, oh, what if I get, you know, submitted? Is that going to hurt me, you know, and my brand? No, all right, they can keep that. We want the people that are hungry like yourself.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Elijah coming into it, everybody thinks he's going to win. So if somebody comes out who's not supposed to win and beats Elijah, that makes the show way better. Even if everybody wants Elijah to win, you always want, like, when the underdog wins, it just feels good for the common guy. It's like, for some reason, everybody's like, damn, that could be me. That could be me right there.
Did you see yourself as the underdog at any point?
I felt like I was seen as the underdog. I felt like I think it is just a competitor mindset, but I don't think anybody can beat me until they do. I think
and then they'd have to do it again, right?
100%, because if they beat me once, then it would be I messed up somewhere, and I know where I messed up, and we'll run it back. Listen, I'm ready to go back. I went and sparred with Extreme Couture I think it was in March, and I went and sparred with the guys. I got to spar with Sean Strickland, and he beat the shit out of me. And I promised he's not ready for me to come back. I don't care if he has the strap or not. He's not ready for me to come back, because I'm going to give him that work. 100%.
So, I mean, I said it at the beginning, like, you look so confident, and right now you're still, again, super confident. Mm-hmm. Where's that all coming from? I mean, are you doing anything as far as, like, I know a lot of athletes do, like, mental stuff. Are you doing any of that stuff? Or
I feel like the way that I've lived my life, I have kind of built myself into the person I am today. Obviously, that's how everybody does. But I also, without just, like, how much in martial arts, I have gained some confidence. I train a lot with tons of people. I always go to different gyms to train. I go to Nashville MMA whenever their fighters are having fights. They call me out there to come spar with their guys. Torres Finney calls me out. He called me out for when he did the Dana White Contender Series. Trevor Peake did the same thing. Big Tuna does the same thing. Clay Mayfield called me out this weekend to come train with him and Dante Leon. Jacob Couch and a couple other guys from Daisy Fresh. They asked me if I would come to train with them because they're getting ready for the Nashville Open. So that's one confidence boost that they even call me to come and do it. But then when I come and train with these guys, I notice that I'm right there with them. There's not many things separating us. They're not subbing me every round. We're having great rounds, and that's a huge confidence boost too. So going and competing with all these other guys is helping me. I noticed that when I was in the gym and even if I was winning all my rounds in my gym, it still didn't feel I couldn't tell if it was these guys are letting me win, if I'm doing good things, or maybe I'm just better than these guys in my gym. But going out and checking around all these other places, I go train in 10th Planet Vegas, all these other places, I feel just fine in there. And I feel like that's where I've gained my confidence.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
and it's
do you prefer punching people in the face or strangling them?
Man, I love fighting. Especially training. I'm not a mean guy. When I go to fights, I don't really want to hurt nobody. I never want to hurt no one. I love people. So that's one thing that kind of sucks about fighting is I understand that I got to go in there and beat the shit out of somebody, and I'm cool with it. I just don't like it that much, if that makes sense. But jiu-jitsu, I feel is super fun because it's not as intense. But I would say training wise, I love sparring, MMA training. Competing wise, I love jiu-jitsu. I also love that I can compete in jiu-jitsu 4 times in a night or 3 times in a month, and I don't have to worry about something.
Well, once you become a pro, because it's going to happen, eventually you'll get that pro fight.
Yeah.
Are you going to stick more towards the MMA route, or are you going to be mixing it up, competing as well?
I'm going to do whatever they want to pay me for.
Yeah. Listen, I've mentioned that to some guys. It's you guys are technically prize fighters,
That's 100% what I am.
Whoever pays you the most money, that's where you go.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, it's UFC. Yeah, but what if one championship pays you double?
Yeah.
Sure. Are you going to pass that up?
Never.
What about WWE?
I'm WWE too.
Woo! Oh, what's up? You watch pro wrestling?
I used to.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But I think that's and not just because of either you did or didn't watch it even, but there's just an avenue of that now. I think where guys can do it, and there is a lot of crossover where jiu-jitsu, grappling, they're blending some of that in for the last several years into that, and learning how to work the mic, having a big personality, being enjoyable, or also learning how to be the bad guy in a way and accepting that the boos are also cheers. That's priceless in that world. So yeah, man, like you said, getting paid, I think that was a thing that we weren't really as into back in the day. We were all trying to be honorable warriors and martial arts this, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm so glad that I did all that because it taught me a lot about being a man that I didn't really know at that point. So that all was great, but we definitely didn't get as much into the making money part of it as athletes when we were younger.
Yeah, I want to be one of the best martial artists in the world. I want to for sure be known as, when people talk about martial arts, they speak about Travis Thomas. So I do want to make an impact in the competitive scene, but whether that is beating somebody up with my fist, choking them out, slapping them, bare knuckle MMA, it honestly doesn't matter to me. I'll do any of it. I want to I want to try to win a world championship, whatever that is. I mean, my dream is to win the 185-pound strap, 205-pound strap, and the heavyweight strap. I would love to be a triple champ. I think my body fits good enough to where I could potentially do that. I don't think that it is an insane goal. I think that it's a hard goal, and it just depends on how much I want to work for it. And then I want to coach. I want to build up an athlete. I would like to find an athlete who's kind of like me in the sense of he understands the game a lot, but I would like to find an athlete more like Christian that wants to go out there and beat the shit out of people. And if I could find somebody with both of those, I think that I could make a dangerous person.
So you mentioned to us before, but what's next for you? What's the next couple things on your plate?
I have the PG or the 10th planet qualifier for the 185-pound combat jiu-jitsu. That would be next weekend, next Sunday. And
that's
then
in LA.
that's in LA
HQ.
at headquarters. Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
then
Okay.
potentially me, Matt Elkins, and Nick's Soft or whatever his last name is are supposed to do. We're supposed to do a 3v3 tournament December 3rd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Where at?
I have no clue. It was Nick's.
Wherever they pay me to go.
Yeah, I just got to send them $50. So, and then, like I mentioned, I don't know if it's 100%, but it's potential that me and Elijah have a match at the beginning of next year.
Nice.
All right. I mean, is his foot broken? I mean,
Oh, his foot's broken
for sure.
I haven't seen the X-ray, but that bitch is broke.
I don't know if he's broken, but he's definitely he took an injury, man. And like with all respect, like not talking shit on the dude in any kind of way. Like it looked nasty the way it was, and he's eating it. He's taking it like a champ in the social media realms on this one too. I know that was a match that he really wanted to be able to win again, and he spoke about the first match they had publicly, you know, and so that kid really wanted to get that one back on him too. So props to Elijah for going out there and taking it like a man on all fronts, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Elijah plays the game. He's a true professional. You know, he's completely accepted that the boos are cheers. I mean, you start booing, he just looks over and smiles. I think he's a lot of fun. I mean, again,
I think the worst thing that you could do is if you're trying to hype people up or make them not like you, is not get a reaction from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because somehow what you're doing is just not working. It's like people sense when people are being disingenuous, you know, they're not being real, whatever.
Bro.
They don't like that shit.
That's what I was trying to tell people during. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like during some of the announcements at the church and stuff, I'm like, please, somebody like get hype for these guys, even if it's not the guy that you want. Like cheer at least a little for me, please. Like just it doesn't even have to be for the athlete. Then just like cheer for your boy, so I can get hyped up because it makes me feel like I suck when it's just like and nobody's happy.
Yeah. Here's Travis. Cricket.
It's the Mantis, not the cricket.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, part of it also is like, you know, we started at 4 p.m. Central Time on Monday. So you know, people got to work. And so, just, you know, it's amazing. It's so much footage for all the fans. But that's also a tough time. But it was also, it made sense because we started at 4 p.m. and we're out like right before 9 or right after 9 every night. That was pretty grueling.
Yeah. And I feel like the PGF emphasizes more on the live stream. Like it's honestly almost a better show on the internet because of the live chat and the commentators, and you still get to hear Bobby, both of them on the live stream. It would be cool in person, but it seems like the live stream is what feeds the PGF for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an online product right now.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, you know, even NFL games. Except when I lived in New Orleans and I love the Saints. But honestly, I enjoy watching games more at home because you can see everything. You can see the stats. You can hear. You said the commentary.
You can grab your phone while you go to the microwave.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
You know, you're actually in the Superdome, and you basically have to have you know, earplugs on before, or else you're going to go deaf. So yeah, I agree. I think the online experience is amazing. I think that we really truly do try to interact with the fans at home and seeing them interact with each other. I mean, shout out to Kai Johnson because he was really in the chat a lot, helping people out. It was phenomenal.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any ADCC aspirations? I mean,
yes.
You like it all. Are you doing the trials or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do the West Coast trials. I have to get my passport. You have to have your passport to compete in ADCC. So once I get back once I get back from California, I'm gonna really go back and try to figure out what the fuck happened with my passport and get that settled so I could do the West Coast trials. The only problem with ADCC is I hate the rule set. I don't like point
The
ideas.
5 sub only, 5 points last minute. Yeah.
Yeah, but you like choking people, and if you choke
do.
people, who gives a fuck about the points?
Exactly. I mean, that's my idea. Like, I am for sure going to work on overtime, and I might like do a little bit of wrestling going into it, but I'm not going to try to change the way that I play. I will still, I'll sit guard in the ADCC if I need to. I don't care about the points.
I'd say not trying to like say anything about the ADC stuff, but I would definitely suggest, and I know that you guys probably already have, and so not trying to overstep anybody, but the strategies for OT going into these qualifiers, because at HQ at the qualifiers, there's no striking during the so it's a regular EBI style match where a lot of the guys are going to keep that strategy where they may try to push you to the OTs just to get through the tournament and stuff like that. So it becomes a really big thing. Understanding just really even like in an MMA fight or whatever, you would not do a specific escape from the back because you'd end up with the guy mounted on top of you, start punching you in the face. Sure. Whereas in OT, it's like, please, if you mount me quickly, it's over. I just escaped. And so you get a really fast turn on that kind of thing. So like the escapes become a little strategically different where you can take a riskier type of escape that you would normally not like as a person for OT only kind of strategy. So definitely, man, as good as you are, if you look into a couple of those little things, you'll definitely be above the level on people who don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. And so like when I went and did Midwest finishers, that's how I lost. I lost my second match due to rear naked choke in overtime. And me and Scaff broke down my overtime and what I was doing in all of them. And I think we found the problem. And that's what I've been practicing this week, and what I'll be doing next week. Yeah, I think it was just like a small error that I needed to fix. I don't think it was like something big that I need to like train too much. I just needed to understand what I was doing.
And awareness of something. Yeah. And that's and that's what I was saying. Generally, like it's something like that is like you didn't realize you're letting them get some separation in a certain space, or you're not particularly fighting the hands at the right time or something like that. And you know, and these guys are just looking for that one opportunity. Some of them, they know they couldn't get your back in any other situation, so they're saving for that.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we'll be good on the overtime. I'm obviously still gonna keep progressing my game, but
for sure.
I think overtime is the only thing I really want to work on, instead of like, because I understand ADCC like has the emphasis on wrestling, but I hate playing that kind of game. Like that's not the game. I don't want to win by points. I would rather lose by points, get subbed, or get the sub. I don't really think winning by points is kind of something I want to do. I'll feel very unsatisfied with it.
Yeah.
It's like when I lost to Kamoy in overtime, I think it hurt more that it just was who held on the longest. Because when I got choked out in overtime, it wasn't like, obviously I wasn't happy, but I was like, oh shit, he won. Like he finished, yeah, he won. He subbed me, I couldn't sub him, game over. So
that's fair. Yep.
Yeah.
So are you looking forward to a rematch with Kamoy too?
Yes, I think so. I don't feel like I don't know how much Kamoy competes still. I feel like I've heard about him doing the PGF the 2 times, and I don't know if I've heard any more. Elijah, I feel like I would rather go against him because he competes a lot more, and yeah.
Well, Kamoy's kind of transitioning to being a promoter.
Well, hold on. There was a little smile there. What's a smile for? It was like Elijah.
Me and Elijah have intertwined in personal life as well as jiu-jitsu life.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would like a match against Elijah.
What are you laughing at, Bobby?
Hey, listen, I don't know anything except for I'm here for it now. I'm ready.
Listen, I don't know what's going on either, but hey, listen, I want to see it too.
Yeah, and I mean it's nothing crazy, nothing.
No,
at all.
no.
Yeah, just little ego things,
Same. I would grapple Elijah again too, given the right opportunity. Just by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, look at Bobby trying to get.
And
I'm not saying anything different would happen either. I'm the same way that like you said earlier. It's like I just need to be proven it again.
Mm-hmm.
A couple times.
I don't know how much I should say or could say about this, but it's potential that match is also CJJ.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know what?
Would be even better for me.
Don't say anymore. Let the people, start going wild with this shit.
I'm already going wild.
Yeah, me too. It's like, yeah, don't tell me anything else. Don't tell me anything else. I just want to like imagine it in my head.
All right. We'll leave it at that then.
Egg,
That's
I'm
exciting.
sorry,
That is exciting, though, bro. And listen, props to you on everything, putting in the hard work. Nothing but good things about you from anybody that's around you in places, about your work ethic, your attitude, how you treat your people, stuff like that. And you can hear how you speak about your coaches and the people around you. That it seems, it's a genuine thing. It's not just like an act that you put on. So I appreciate that, and it's been really cool being around you and getting to know you and getting to hear more about like your takes on stuff. So I definitely appreciate your time, man.
Absolutely, man. Same to y'all. Yeah, I feel like I'm a very, very honest person. So anything you hear me say is going to be what I feel. I don't try to sugarcoat anything. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, the truth I speak, but I feel like that's the best way to go about it. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Right on. Egg, sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You had something for him.
No, I think we're kind of wrapping up. I mean, Travis, obviously, meteoric rise, the fastest promoted purple belt out of 10th Planet Decatur. Everyone was talking about you. And yeah, I said overpaid. But I was wrong. You proved me wrong. You proved anyone that doubted you wrong. And I think you're going to keep doing that.
Hell yeah.
Underpaid.
Hopefully, I think that you'll be hearing my name a lot more here lately, or here coming up. I'm for sure going to try to stay as active as possible. Anything that I see, I'm going to do. I'm willing. If y'all ever hear about anything, let me know. I'm willing to compete from jiu-jitsu from 185 up and MMA at 185. So
No
anybody
question.
wants to run it, let's do it.
Dude, you definitely have 4 big fans here. No question about it.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm a fan of y'all as well. So
Miggy, any thoughts? Any final thoughts before we go? Nah, man.
I'm on the Mantis train, dog. I'm about to go like get a fake neck tat and stuff later.
Yes.
And
hell yeah.
I'm about it now, man.
Bro, that would be so funny at the event if everybody comes out with a bunch of fake neck tattoos and stuff.
That's the
they
Mantis
sell the
thing,
fake
but it's
ones.
just a neck tattoo.
Yeah, just boop.
That's funny.
They just won't look as good on you, Miggy. That's all.
Yeah, no. Hey, I can only imagine, bro. I'm going there doing this all the time.
Yeah,
Like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm a fan, man.
Show your tits.
Yeah,
Listen,
show
before
your
we-
tits.
Show your tits. Are you a butt spitter, bro? What's up?
I'm sorry, Brandon. I try.
It's not live. It's not live.
Listen, and we're not going to cut it either. It's going on the podcast too. Listen, when I upload this shit, I put people, it is explicit. So no kids should be listening to this shit.
No, like this. This was a previously recorded session. People are commenting, "Yo, why are you ignoring me?"
That's true.
Yeah, put that up there.
Make it a premiere. I'll hop in the comments. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that.
Yeah, I'll do that later on. When I'm done editing and stuff. But
Hey, where's all my clips at? Sorry, that's another show. Sorry, my bad. I should have did that right then. I'm sorry. I know you're busy. That's my ADHD just triggered up.
I'm so sorry. Listen, like
Yo.
I've been doing all kinds of stuff, and I'll be honest, I completely forgot. I've been.
Well, then definitely get back on my shit then.
Yo, Dream definitely asked me to the seminar. You guys have any questions? Yo, what do you mean by white?
My clip's ready, motherfucker.
Straight up, dog.
All right. Well, before we go, Travis, any shout outs, sponsors, anybody that you want to, tell them that you appreciate them.
Yeah, man, my parents, first of all, my parents are super, super supportive. They don't always financially have the way to support me, but they're always making sure that they're doing whatever they can to support me. I don't know if many people know, but I have 5 adopted brothers and sisters, so we got a big ass family, and my parents are fucking fantastic the way that they've took care of us. And then I have a sponsor in California, Sugar Mama. She does sugaring. She's a skincare girl. She's awesome. She's super supportive.
That was not exactly
That's
where I
awesome,
thought that was going.
It's Sugar Mama
That's amazing.
Skincare. She sugars people like waxing. Tyrell Gray, he owns 2 companies. G3 Solar, which is a solar company. and Hunting Auction Company. I want to thank 10th Planet Decatur for everything they do. Matt Scaff, he's a G. Brandon Mccaghren. All you guys are super awesome. The PGF wouldn't be the same without you guys. So super supportive of you guys. And I know it's people think it's about the athletes, but you guys do a ton to make that shit happen. So that's fucking awesome. And
It's a nice hoodie you got on.
Ex Marshall for this super rad hoodie. They sent me some training gear too. Whenever I get that in, I'll put that on. Epic Roll, they're super dope. They're sending me some gear as well. Level sent me a little care package. Awesome. New Hope Generation, been in cahoots with them. So got some big things coming up. Stay tuned for the Mantis. I'll be putting on a show.
Of course, tons of love for Mike from Subversive as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sorry. I also fucking forget a lot of things, but yeah, Mike was super helpful this the week of the PGF. So it's big shout out to him.
He the man.
He made some awesome chicken, but at
Bruh.
the finale, not the day before the finale, he made this squash with goat cheese and cilantro and some onions. Man, that shit was so good.
Bro, when I met him, I thought I was like, damn, they got a caterer. That's what's up. From Subversion. I'm like, oh shit.
All right, we're talking about food.
But how cool was that though? That Mike, the dude for the guy from Subversive, was out here just like, and he looked like a caterer. He didn't act like anything other than a guy who was just part of the team, trying to help out, making sure everybody was taken care of and stuff. To me, when I found out who he was and he was doing all that stuff, I was like, oh man, that just endeared him to me like really, really big time.
Yeah, super badass.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Mike from Subversive. Egg, any final thoughts before we go?
Hey man, PGF season 5 was phenomenal. Season 6, March in Vegas, baby, Vegas. That's gonna be insane.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know what weight division they're doing. Weight class. What is it?
I don't know.
5? Oh,
He was like doing Vulcan stuff. I don't know what's going on.
I was trying to think of a V symbol. I don't know.
you were. I thought you were shouting out like Matt Elkins or something. I'm like,
right? Yeah, I was like,
oh yeah, that's where that came from. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So as we said, season 6, Vegas, baby, Vegas, March. It's gonna be a quick turn. That's only a handful of months away. Travis, are you down? Are you all about it if they want Mantis?
1000%. If it's 185 pounds and up, sign me up. I can't go no lower than that, especially same day weigh in. So, I mean, but I'll compete up to heavyweight for sure. I'll show them boys I'm about it.
yeah.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, heavyweight.
Hell yeah.
Well, listen, with that said, we're going to catch all you guys that are listening to this sometime next week, probably. We're probably going to stick to StreamYard. Riverside FM suck balls. It shit the bed for real. With everything that it
way
can.
better.
Yeah, with everything that it's supposed that it can do, it shit the bed. But anyway.
This is crazy.
Awesome.
All right, we'll catch you next week, guys. Peace. Adios, muchachos.